All right, let's dive in. We've got a story today that, well, it really makes you blink. Imagine this, a top politician's medical report. The key to getting leave to go abroad for treatment is later alleged to have contained, well, dog's blood.
Yeah, it's a pretty jaw-dropping claim. And crucially, this isn't just some online rumor. It was stated on national TV in Pakistan by someone seen as very connected to the military establishment there.
Exactly. So welcome to the deep dive. You know how we do it? We take source material, in this case, a detailed YouTube account giving an insider's perspective, and we pull out the key insights for you.
And today we're looking at this really tangled story from Pakistan. It connects this startling accusation about manipulated medical reports for former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif.
With wider questions about power and influence, our job here is to try and understand the different layers, who's involved, and maybe what it tells us about how things work or allegedly work in these complex situations.
It's fascinating because, as the source presents it, this isn't just about a medical document. It touches on alleged backroom deals, political maneuvering, and the very question of who holds the real power.
Right. So let's start with the core claim itself. The source says Nawaz Sharif's platelet report, the one that allowed him to leave Pakistan, allegedly contained dog's blood. It even specifies, apparently, from a sick dog.
And the person making this claim, Senator Faisal Vawda, he said this publicly on TV. Now, the source really emphasizes Vawda's perceived position. He's described as a kind of special representative of Pakistan's military generals.
Which implies significant clout. What does the source suggest about his influence? It paints him as someone with, well, almost lieutenant general level authority, tasked with handling big tasks, even confronting Supreme Court judges, allegedly.
And according to this account, he seems to operate with a degree of immunity. The source points out he apparently made threats on TV, like playing football with their heads, referring to opponents, but faced no real consequences. The implication is strong backing from the generals.
It raises serious questions about accountability, doesn't it? If that portrayal is accurate. Now, this specific dog blood claim, though from an older clip, apparently resurfaced recently. It was aired on Kamran Shahid's show on Dunya TV.
And Vawda, according to the source, adds another layer. He apparently claims he was personally involved or at least witnessed the preparation of this report, maybe even alongside someone referred to as General Faiz. He positions himself as a unique eyewitness from within PTI, Imran Khan's party.
So how did people react? Particularly someone like Javed Latif, who's associated with Nawaz Sharif and known for being quite outspoken, quite tough.
Well, interestingly, the source says Latif didn't directly rebut the claim. Instead, he apparently referred to Vawda as our younger brother. The narrator interprets this as a sign of deference, acknowledging the power Vawda supposedly represents rather than challenging the substance of the claim directly.
That's telling in itself. Suggests maybe an unspoken understanding of the power dynamics as presented in this account. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. The source also provides an insider's view from Dr. Shahbaz Gill, who was working within the Punjab government system at the time.
Right. Gill, looking back, apparently came to believe a deal for Sharif's departure was already done, possibly between General Bajwa, the army chief then, and maybe General Faiz. This alleged pre-existing deal, he suggests, framed everything that happened next.
So Gill details visiting Nawaz Sharif in Kotlakpat jail multiple times. And he says he brought along very credible senior doctors, heads of departments, professors from places like the Punjab Institute of Cardiology.
And there was a confrontation, apparently. One doctor supposedly pointed out to Sharif that English doctors had actually caused an issue during a past procedure damaging an artery. This doctor effectively said, look, we have the expertise right here in Pakistan. We can treat you.
But according to Gill's account in the source, Nawaz Sharif consistently refused examination, refused treatment within Pakistan.
Which is a key point, because it contrasts so sharply with the public narrative being built at the time that he was critically ill and not getting adequate care.
Yeah, Gill's description is vivid. He claims that while the media campaign, which he alleges was orchestrated by General Bajwa and others, portrayed Sharif as near death's door, in jail he actually looked, well, healthy, pink cheeks, happy, walking around.
And eating quite heartily too, apparently. The source mentions korma gosht, mutton chops, harissa, paya. These are rich, heavy meat dishes, not exactly what you'd expect for someone supposedly critically ill with platelet issues.
Right. The source also mentions the government tried to counter the lack of care narrative by setting up a special ward right in the jail, complete with a 247 cardiac doctor.
But Gill suggests that if the deal for his departure was already allegedly in place, maybe these efforts were, just for show or ultimately irrelevant to the outcome.
Okay, so the hard issue narrative perhaps didn't stick or didn't achieve the goal. Then, suddenly, the focus shifts dramatically to platelets. The count allegedly trashes, from 29,000 down to 18,000, then 6,000, and finally an incredibly low 2,000.
That triggered an urgent transfer to Services Hospital in Lahore, and a medical board was quickly assembled to assess him.
Now, this is where the narrator Gill makes a broader and pretty damning claim about the system itself. He essentially says that in Pakistan, according to his view, no profession, not even doctors, is immune to pressure or manipulation from the military leadership.
He contrasts it with situations in other countries where professionals might resign over ethical concerns, suggesting that kind of stand is rare in Pakistan when faced with such alleged pressure.
It's a sweeping indictment. And the source then names specific individuals allegedly involved with the medical board or consultations, implying they facilitated potentially fabricated reports.
Yes. Professor Dr. Mahmoud Ayaz, who headed the board and was vice-chancellor at SIMS, Services Institute of Medical Sciences, is accused by the narrator of delivering this dirty work. The source alleges he was later rewarded with the top job at King Edward Medical College.
A significant alleged reward. Who else is mentioned?
Several others from SIMS, Professor Kamran Khalid Chima, pulmonology, Professor Arif Nadim, medicine, Professor Faiza Bashir, pathology, Dr. Khadija Irfan, endocrinology, Dr. Sobia Qazi, infectious diseases.
Okay.
Also consulted were Professor Dr. Saqib Shafi, head of the Punjab Institute of Cardiology, Nawaz Sharif's personal physician, Dr. Adnan Khan, and Professor Dr. Khalid Masood Gondal, VC of Fatima Jinnah Medical University. There were others too, like Professor Dr. Amir Zaman and Dr. Fatima.
And civil servants?
Yes. Mamina Aga, the health secretary, noted as having a good reputation generally, and Mian Shakil, a special secretary. And overseeing this as health minister was Dr. Yasmin Rashid, who is actually currently in jail herself on other charges. The narrator suggests she might have been betrayed by those working under her.
That's a long list of prominent names. If these allegations hold any water, it points towards a very coordinated effort, allegedly.
Absolutely. It suggests a potentially systemic issue, not just isolated actions, according to this particular account.
So how could this even happen technically? How can platelet counts be faked or manipulated to seem so low? The source actually goes into some detail here.
It does. One explanation offered involves the test tubes themselves. They contain an anticoagulant called EDTA to stop clotting. If the blood isn't mixed properly with the EDTA right away,
the platelets can start clumping together before the test is run.
Exactly. And that clumping leads to a falsely low reading when the machine or a technician counts them. That's the EDTA mixing issue.
Okay, what else?
Manual counting errors. Preparing the blood slide involves spreading a drop at a specific angle, usually 30-45 degrees, then staining it and counting platelets under a microscope. It's precise work.
So deliberate errors in technique, spreading it wrong, not counting properly, could give you almost any result you wanted.
Potentially, yes. The source implies that if someone intended to fudge the numbers, the manual process offers opportunities. Even temperature matters, leaving the sample out too long at room temperature can cause clotting and affect the count.
And the source makes another point. In places like the U.S., false low readings happen maybe 1% of the time just due to how sensitive the process is. Standard procedure there is always to repeat the test if you get a surprisingly low result.
Right. The implication in this account is that this crucial repeat testing, this confirmation step, was deliberately not done in Sharif's case, allowing the allegedly false low numbers to stand.
These technical details really add another dimension, suggesting ways it could potentially be done. This then leads the narrator to his wider critique we touched on earlier.
Yeah, he broadens out from the specific case to argue that there's a systemic issue in Pakistan, a lack of ethical backbone, as he puts it. He repeats the claim. When the army chief decides something, the whole system, universities, doctors, judges, bureaucrats, politicians, even religious figures, just falls into line.
It's a very stark portrayal of alleged power dynamics. He contrasts this with university presidents in the U.S. resigning over plagiarism or other ethical issues,
highlighting what he sees as a lack of similar ethical courage across the board in Pakistan, from the lowest levels right up to senior professionals. It's a critique of institutional integrity under pressure.
And he finishes with this observation about perceived ethical double standards. He notes how strong moral outrage can be directed at, say, vulnerable minorities,
but seems absent when it comes to widespread corruption affecting everyone. Like, he gives examples. Putting brick dust in chili powder, urea in milk, performing unnecessary surgeries, illegal organ harvesting. letting murderers go free for money, land grabbing.
His point seems to be that the moral compass, as he sees it, gets applied very selectively. That outrage doesn't extend to these kinds of potentially harmful, unethical acts when they're committed within the system or by powerful players.
It's a challenging final thought from the narrator, questioning where society's ethical lines are drawn according to his perspective.
So there you have it. We've just walked through a really complex and layered narrative. This shocking dog blood allegation, the insider account suggesting a prearranged political maneuver disguised as a health crisis, and even the technical details of how medical reports could potentially be faked.
And hopefully exploring these different facets helps you, the listener, get a sense of the alleged interplay between power, politics, and information in a system like Pakistan's. It's about more than just one incident.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with a final thought. If these accounts are even partially reflective of reality, showing how easily trusted systems like medicine can potentially be bent or manipulated for external agendas, what does that tell you about the vital importance of critical thinking, of questioning narratives, and always trying to seek out multiple perspectives, especially when the stakes are high?